Hello students, today our topic is principle involved in NMR spectroscopy. So let us first go to energy of radio wave radiation. Radio frequency waves are regarded as the lowest energy form of electromagnetic radiation, and the frequency of radio waves lies between 10 power 7 to 10 power 9 Hz or cycles per second. We can calculate the energy of radio frequency radiation by using the formula E is equal to h nu, and we get, if you have taken 10 power 7 CPS, the energy is around 6.6 into 10 power minus 20 ergs. So this is very less energy, which is neither used to vibrate or rotate or excite an atom or a molecule. So this less energy can change the spin of the nuclei, or it can change the spin of the electron when radio wave radiations are absorbed by nucleus or electron. This generally happens in the presence of magnetic field. The analytical field involved with the interaction between nuclei and radio frequency radiation is called nuclear magnetic resonance. NMR is a technique that enables to study the shape and structure of a molecule. So now, what do you mean by precessional motion? Have you ever heard any example regarding any body having a precessional motion? Yes, immediately you may be getting the idea of a spinning top. So it rotates around itself and also round about an axis. So the spinning top is an example of precessional motion. Proton is a spinning magnet because it has both electric charge and mechanical spin. Why I am calling proton as a magnet means proton is a body which has spin and also it possesses positive charge. Any spinning charged body, it develops some both electric field and magnetic field. That is the reason why I am saying proton is a spinning magnet. Since it has both electric charge and mechanical spin, hence it will precess around the axis of external magnetic field. The precession of the nucleus appears as a spinning top. Precession arises due to interaction of spin and the gravitational force acting downwards. This is the reason why only a spinning top will precess, whereas a static top will topple over. So when the top is spinning only, it will spin continuously. When once it stops, it will just fall towards one side. That is called topple over. Since proton is a spinning magnet, it will precess around the axis of applied external magnetic field. Precession is in two orientations for I is equal to half. That is aligned or parallel with the field, it is of low energy. Opposed or anti-parallel to the field, it is of higher energy. In the previous session, we have discussed what is I. A spin value is called I. And if I is equal to half, that means there are two different orientations for a proton with I is equal to half value. That is, if it is plus half or minus half, if there is no applied magnetic field, they will be in degenerate state. But if we apply magnetic field somewhere else here, the spin states will split. One state will be aligned to the direction of the magnetic field. Other state will be opposite to the direction of the magnetic field. So this is of low energy and this is of higher energy. For example, this is the proton which is spinning around its axis. If the magnetic moment is in the same direction with that of the applied magnetic field, that is called aligned condition. This is also known as alpha condition. And if the magnetic moment of the spinning proton is in the opposite direction, see these two are now in opposite direction, this one and this direction, that is called opposite condition or anti-parallel condition, and we represent it as minus half state, which is of higher energy state. So for I is equal to half value, there are two spin states, alpha state and beta state. So this is about the aligned condition and parallel condition to the external magnetic field. So one more topic that we have to consider in NMR spectroscopy is Lamar's Fresnel frequency. The proton presses around the external magnetic field. You can see this is a red arrow is a spinning proton which is spinning around itself and also around the external magnetic field. There is a blue arrow which represents external magnetic field. Stronger the magnetic field, higher the precision. So by using this Lamar's equation, this is called Lamar's Fresnel frequency, and B naught is the magnetic field. If stronger is the magnetic field, stronger will be the Fresnel frequency, and these two are directly proportional to each other. We are expressing Lamar's Fresnel frequency in terms of omega, that is in terms of radians, whereas we can also express in terms of cycles per second, which is in terms of nu value. So 2 pi nu, omega is equal to 2 pi nu. Nu is nothing but frequency in terms of cycles per second. So here through Lamar's frequency we are expressing omega in terms of radians, whereas if you convert this again same thing, frequency in terms of cycles per second, and frequency is also proportional to external magnetic field. So omega is equal to gamma B naught. Gamma is called gyromagnetic ratio, which is the ratio between magnetic moment and angular momentum of the nucleus. Therefore, by seeing this equation, we can say that the applied magnetic field increases, Fresnel frequency of the nucleus also increases. From this slide, the summary point is, as the applied magnetic field increases, precessional frequency of the nucleus also increases. In the previous session, we have discussed one more thing also. As the applied magnetic field increases, the energy between two states, the energy difference between two states also increases. That is, delta E also, energy difference between two states also increases if increases the magnetic field. So these two are the points we can derive from this slide. From quantum mechanics, it is known that energy of interaction of nuclear magnetic moment, that is nuclear magnetic moment is nothing but mu value, and external magnetic field B, if this is Bz, B value is given by E is equal to minus mu into B. Since both are vector quantities, I am representing them with arrows. But any nucleus with a spin is associated with magnetic moment which is proportional to angular momentum I. So any nucleus, if it is having spin, then magnetic moment of that nucleus can be given by Gn mu n into I, where you can see many terminologies here. Gn is nuclear G factor, which is around 5.6 for proton, and it can be calculated. It is a calculated value. At the same time, mu n is nuclear magneton, which is equal to Eh by 4 pi mp. E is the charge of the proton, H is Planck's constant, 4 and pi are constants, m is the mass of the proton. It is here charge of the electron, it is here written, but it is charge of the proton. For electron also you can calculate nuclear magneton value, so mu n value. So here you can write this from the first equation, E is equal to mu into B naught. B naught or Bz both are same, external magnetic field. So instead of mu I can keep Gn mu n I into B. As we all know, I is the nuclear spin quantum number, where I is quantized in the presence of magnetic field, and energy of the nuclear spins is defined only in terms of components Mi value. So I can be expressed in terms of Mi into H cap. So I can write in terms of components, because we have separate spin states, we can write them in terms of components. EMI is equal to minus Gn mu n Bz into Mi. So Mi may be plus half value or minus half value. So here if I go for this diagram, initially they are in degenerate state, but later when I have applied magnetic field, they are divided into two spin states. Now I can calculate the energy of plus half state and minus half state. Difference between these two states is nothing but half Gn mu n B naught minus half Gn mu n B naught, that is equal to Gn mu n B naught. That means energy between these two is directly proportional to external magnetic field. This is equation 3, which clearly shows that magnetic moment determines the sensitivity of the NMR experiment and hence the strength of the signal. If the precessing nucleus, so here imagine this is a nucleus and it is precessing, it rotates around itself and also around the axis of external magnetic field, that is called precession. When this is irradiated with H nu, that is electromagnetic radiation of some frequency, then if the precessional frequency of the nucleus is equal to electromagnetic radiation frequency, then the nucleus will absorb the radiation. Again I am repeating, the nucleus is pressing here. When I place this in the external magnetic field, it is rotating around itself and also around the direction of the external magnetic field. So upon this precessing nucleus, if I pass electromagnetic radiation of some frequency, the frequency of this radiation nu should match with the precessional frequency of the nucleus. Then the energy of electromagnetic radiation will be absorbed by the nucleus. What do you mean by absorption of energy? The spin of the nucleus, which is initially plus half, may be converted into minus half, or if the spin is minus half, it may be converted into plus half. So this is what called absorption of energy. When the nucleus is placed in a system where it absorbs energy, now the nucleus now can become excited from plus half state to minus half state. Then it loses its energy and again return back to ground state. This continuous absorption of energy and again entering back to ground state and again excitation, again unexcited state, this happens in a continuous way and this state is called resonance. So the nuclei which alternately becomes excited and unexcited is said to be in a state of resonance. NMR spectra can be recorded in two ways: keeping the magnetic field fixed and varying frequency, or keeping the frequency constant and varying the magnetic field. So generally we prefer this way. We will keep the frequency constant and we will vary the magnetic field. We will come across this in chemical shift. What is the purpose of doing so? So when we keep the frequency constant in the instrument, we have instruments like 60 MHz, 100 MHz frequency and also 500 MHz frequency instruments. In those instruments, for example 60 MHz, that means the frequency is fixed for 60 MHz. The high sensitive instruments will have 500 MHz frequency fixed instruments also. In order to determine the resonance frequency, the frequency at which the nucleus will resonate, that frequency, the energy absorbed by the nuclei is measured by varying the magnetic field. So if you continuously vary the magnetic field, for example, this is the state where we have a nuclei. There is one nucleus here or there is a proton here which is spinning. So if I continuously vary the magnetic field in this direction and I am keeping some 60 MHz frequency H nu electromagnetic radiation upon this, at some stage, at some Tesla of energy, the nucleus, with the increase in magnetic field, the precessional frequency increases. The precessional frequency of the nucleus will match with 60 MHz, then absorption will take place. So in order to determine the resonance frequency, the energy absorbed with the nuclei is measured by varying the magnetic field. As the B naught is increased, the precessional frequency of the nucleus increases, and when the precessional frequency matches the oscillating radio frequency waves, then the transition occurs from lower state to higher state. The energy absorbed in this process produces signal at the detector and the signal is amplified and recorded. NMR spectra is calibrated in units of frequency. This is NMR spectrometer, NMR instrument. We have many parts here. So generally this is a schematic diagram. This is a sample where we have taken the nuclei and this is a magnetic field, magnet. When you keep the nucleus in the magnetic field, what happens? You will get, because of Zeeman effect, we will get spin states. For example, the sample consists of I is equal to half. Then we have two spin states. 2i plus 1 is equal to 2. Then we have two spin states. When you apply a magnetic field, the spin states will divide. And when you pass radio frequency region and we are continuously sweeping the magnetic field, when you are continuously varying the magnetic field in this direction, what happens at some stage? The precessional frequency of the nucleus will match with the radio frequency and then excitation will occur. Because of this excitation, energy is absorbed and detector will read the signals and you will get a spectrum like this. So this is NMR spectrum. And to summarize, we have discussed about Lamar's pretional frequency, pretional motion of the nucleus, what is resonance, and how do the NMR spectrum look like.